Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm Professor Spira, and today I would like to go over some frequently asked questions about the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And I'm here at arnolderrett.us, at my website dedicated to studying Arnold Errett and the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And under Healing System, we have Mucusless Diet Frequently Asked Questions. Now, another version of this is also available in my ebook, Spira Speaks, Dialogues and Essays on the Mucusless Diet Healing System. This version is a little bit different, so I will go over this one right now. We have a picture of Professor Arnold Errett that I added some effects to. And what I'll do is just kind of read through some things, and I'll add points on as necessary. So this is an introduction to the Mucusless Diet Healing System by yours truly, Professor Spira. Disclaimer: my views about and experiences with the human body may challenge everything that you have been taught about the body. It is necessary for you to free your mind of the many erroneous medical and naturopathic concepts before we get started. Don't just take my word for it. I encourage you to ask questions and research this topic for yourself. The only way that you can truly know something is to do it. General Introductory Principles. Lesson 1. Every disease, no matter what name it is known by medical science, is constipation. Constipation is a clogging up of the entire pipe system of the human body with mucus and pus. Special accumulation points are the tongue, the stomach, and particularly the entire digestive tract. The latter is the real and deeper cause of bowel constipation. The average person has as much as 10 to 20 pounds of uneliminated feces in their digestive tract. This waste is continually poisoning the bloodstream and the entire body system. Think of it. Every sick person has a mucus-clogged system derived from undigested, uneliminated, unnatural food substances that are accumulated since childhood. The Mucusless Diet Healing System has proven to be the most successful compensation action and so-called cure against every type of disease known to mankind. By its systematic application, thousands of patients that are declared to be incurable could be saved. So what I did here was kind of summarize the very beginning of the Mucusless Diet Healing System. This is lesson 1. The book starts off with every disease, no matter what name it is known by medical science, is constipation, and then I summarized here. Now, I'll make a note that we do not claim that the Mucusless Diet cures disease. It is the answer to human illness. Now, this is a technical kind of speech where the medical establishment, medical practitioners, their realm is diseases, and their realm is to perpetuate, or if they want to cure diseases, that's what they can do. We're talking about health, and you don't have to have a degree or be propped up by some institution to have a conversation about health. So we're really not talking about diseases. We don't even identify that concept. We talk about human illness, and to heal human illness is what the Mucusless Diet Healing System is able to do when applied and used properly. So both how you eat and what you eat are important. The Mucusless diet consists of all kinds of raw and cooked fruits, starchless vegetables, and cooked or raw, mostly green leaf vegetables. The Mucusless Diet Healing System is a combination of individually advised long and short-term fasts, menus that progressively change to non-mucus forming foods, and regular colon irrigation. This diet alone can heal every case of human illness without fasting, although such a cure would require a longer time. So again, this is really I should probably add someplace that this is directly from lesson 1 from the Mucusless Diet Healing System. So a lot of these words are Arnold Ehret's that I've just kind of adapted a bit. So now we get down here to frequently asked questions. What are mucus-forming foods? Dead animal products, dairy products, grains, starches, and fats. Well then, what do you eat? I am systematically transitioning my diet to fruits and green leaf vegetables. Ultimately, these foods will eliminate the need for themselves. But how do you get protein and vitamins? I do not believe in a protein theory. The body does not need anything to be a body. You cannot feed an atom protein or anything else, and we are made up of a bunch of atoms. The body does not get its energy from food or the nutrients found in food. If you break your addiction to so-called protein or mucus foods, you will feel much better and see at once how wrong this theory is. Now, a friend of mine, Brother Air, has done many long extended fasts that I've witnessed. Now, when we talk about these fasts, we're not necessarily trying to inspire others to do long fasts. That's not the point. The point is to put to rest so many of these erroneous theories. And we really need not look any further than the primates in the animal kingdom to just kind of shut down some of these insane propositions like a protein theory. That you have to eat, that the body is even able to metabolize dead animal flesh and do something productive with it. People weren't worried about, well, I won't be big. I'll be too skinny if I don't eat protein. I'll tell that to Mr. Gorilla that eats, that's a fruitarian biologically. Yes, it'll eat some other things if the ecology is wrong, or if they've been hanging out with humans. Yeah, you can feed it some nasty stuff, but biologically is a fruitarian. And our GI tract, or gastrointestinal tract, is closest related to primates, which are fruit eaters. Now, if these big animals, and the herbivores, the cows and all the other herbivores, they also don't eat dead animal flesh. A cow doesn't eat other cows to make beef that people will try to eat when they kill the cow. It eats plant life. So just looking at that, we can really get beyond some of these really far out myths. And I talk a lot more about looking at the history of the protein theory and nutrition and metabolism and that kind of stuff elsewhere. So I won't get into that anymore here, but I just wanted to, because this always comes up. People, that's, where do you get your protein? It's like, I don't even believe in the protein theory, as it relates to nutrition. I don't really believe in the nutrition theory in the way that it is proposed by, Western dietetic theory. Why do I need colon irrigation? The human organism is the filthiest being on the planet. No other animal has broken the physiological laws of nature as terribly as humans have. Because of our condition, it is necessary to irrigate our colon every day to rectify the physiological laws that we and our ancestors have been breaking for thousands of years. So here's an enema bag plus lemon. You want to juice the lemon plus distilled water equals physiological freedom. Now, I will say that we say every day because there's many people in the camp that do colon irrigation every day, and I know that brings up a lot of concerns, and people say, well, are you addicted to it, or this, or do you depend on that to go to the bathroom? And I would say no, don't depend on it. It's we view it as hygiene. You brush your teeth, you jump in the shower, you wipe the outside of your body. If you're going to be eating, and especially if you're eating anything near mucus, it does not hurt a thing to just keep it going. Now, if you're not down for every day or whatever, then that's, I've started to, instead of saying every day, I've been saying regular colon irrigation a little bit more, so that it's not as, because that's just a decision that you make. That's not like you some law or something. I'm telling you what other people have done that practice the diet, and the kind of results that they have gotten by doing that. But if you do it every other day, once a week, once a month, I mean, whatever you do that's a step in the right direction, you'll start to see the benefits of it if you do it properly. Now, I won't say too much more on it. I have a very detailed section in my ebook, Spira Speaks, where I give detailed step-by-step instructions on how to do a lemon juice enema, or lemona, as somebody has called it. So I will kind of leave that there for a moment. What do you mean by physiological law? I often say that the world was flat until we realized it was round. A law is an undeniable truth that is invariable under any given circumstance. Most of us agree upon a law called gravity. We agree that if an individual jumps off the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, with no technological apparatus, that he or she will fall and die because of the tremendous impact with the ground due to gravity. This is an example of a, quote, rediscovered, unquote, law that we all are conscious of. In the late 1800s, Professor Arnold Ehret rediscovered the most important, fundamental, and misunderstood universal law regarding human physiology, that is, that our bodies are air gas engines. We realized that no matter what we eat, we are all running solely on air. He then established the equation vitality equals power minus obstruction, or V equals P minus O, to demonstrate this law. Like breaking the law of gravity, if you break this physiological law, you will undoubtedly suffer sooner or later. It does not matter whether you disagree with the law, believe in the law, consciously ignore the law, or just not know what it is. You will not be granted a verdict of not guilty due to a technicality or due to ignorance. It is your duty and privilege to investigate and know the law. You have the right to stop eating mucus. If you give up this right, it will be held against you in accordance with the physiological laws of the universe. What is meant by V equals P minus O? If you were to put sand into the gas chamber of your car, how far do you think your car would go? If your car engine is caked with gunk because you have not had an oil change in years, how well does the car work? Chances are it would work much better if gasoline was used instead of sand, and the gunk or obstruction was eliminated with a good oil change. If the basic laws are ignored, the obstruction in the engine becomes too great and it cannot function and ultimately stops or dies. The engine of your body acts in the same way. Your body is an air gas engine that was never designed to intake mucus-forming foods. Over time, these mucus-forming foods create so much obstruction that our bodies can no longer receive efficient amounts of oxygen into our bloodstream. This obstruction is then given some kind of name, such as heart attack, stroke, high cholesterol, etc. To describe this basic principle, Arnold Ehret created the equation vitality equals power minus obstruction, or V equals P minus O. As soon as obstruction, or O, becomes greater than the body's power, or P, deriving from the breath, the body comes to a standstill. So vitality equals power minus obstruction. If you remove, the proposition here is basically that the human body is a perpetual motion air gas engine, and if there is no obstruction to slow down or wear out and age the human organism, that it would function perpetually with no issues, primarily off of breathing, through the breathing process. So when we eat pus and mucus forming foods that the body cannot really handle, and it doesn't eliminate, and it turns into this really viscous kind of sludge and mess in our body, and the body tries to tuck it away in our tissue system to protect us from drowning in our own waste immediately upon eating it, our bodies have trouble moving forward. So we might have what our bodies have done is done its best to adapt over the years. So that's why there's a lot of people that it seems like they're really healthy, but they eat terrible stuff. They might live on junk food, but they still seem to be pretty healthy, so you don't really think about it. And then there's other people that seem to eat healthy, but it's like they're always going through some kind of what we call elimination. Other people call it sickness. This can all be explained within the context of physiological liberation. And so I'll kind of leave it there for right now. I think I'm going to create a blog post where I explore the tenets of vitality equals power, mind, substruction a little bit more. I talk about it more in the ebook. So let's move on a bit. Then what is this eating thing for if we run out of air? The first thing that we must do is humble ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror, and admit that we are pathologically sick beings addicted to the ultimate gateway drug, which is pus and mucus. We must eliminate the erroneous medical dogmas that we have been force-fed since childhood. I know that I am addicted to the most insidious drug that the human body could ever consume, which is pus and mucus. What can I do about my addiction? I can read the Mucusless Diet Healing System and start to transition away from mucus-forming foods. I can begin to administer lemon enemas to myself and learn how to lie down and fast or refrain from eating solid food when it is necessary. The only reason that we eat is to control our bodily elimination. What about pharmaceutical medications? The human body is not designed to use the chemicals in medicine whatsoever. Medicine is a chemical poison that shocks your body, forcing it to stop its current elimination and deal with the new poison. Therefore, you suppress your current symptoms and go on about your day like everything is normal. Ignoring our eliminations through suppression will not make the problem go away. The only way to eliminate what we call sickness is to eliminate the mucus from our bodies and diets. So I'm being very general here, but as there's a lot of medicines that get real kind of detailed, messing with hormones and levels in the body, and you get real into a lot of stuff. I'm especially thinking about the type of medicine that is used to suppress symptoms. So you get a runny nose and then you go and you grab some type of acetaminophen or something like that, and that's like the worst thing you could do is to suppress the natural elimination that your body is trying to go through. There's nothing more natural than get a runny nose. Just lay down, stop eating mucus, go through the elimination. Let your body throw that waste off, because obviously it's there. And if it doesn't throw the waste off, it turns into chronic illness down the road. So what I see with the way people use pharmaceutical medications oftentimes is definitely in a suppressing type of mode, or to treat symptoms as opposed to doing what's necessary to allow the body to heal. I thought that Jell-O was wholesome. Isn't that what they serve sick patients in the hospital? Jell-O is made out of ground up bones, hooves, and other parts of animals. Needless to say, it is pure filth and not fit for human consumption. much less hospital patients who desperately need some lemon enemas, fruits, vegetables, and prescribed rational fasts. How long should I fast? You must naturally learn how to fast over a long period of time. As you gain experience, you will learn the length that is right for you. The cleaner your body gets, the easier it will be to fast. Whenever you go through a mucus elimination, that is, get sick, you should immediately stop eating mucus. Fast. If you would like to avoid adding to your current latent sicknesses, then it is advised that the art of fasting be learned without delay. Just fruit, vegetables? Mucusless fruits and vegetables are the only foods fit for human consumption. The purpose of eating these foods is to aid the body in its elimination of pus and mucus. When not fasting, fruits and vegetables should be eaten every day. Fruits act as an aggressive dissolver of mucus, while vegetables function as a mucus broom in the intestines that help the body eliminate the dissolved waste. I'll make a side note and say, okay, mucusless fruits and vegetables are the only foods fit for human consumption, which is true. However, humans in our condition need to transition. That rhymes. Humans in our condition need to transition. We didn't get in the condition we are overnight, and we're not going to get out of it overnight. So after you study the Mucusless Diet, you study other things that I've either posted or check out my book or whatever you get into, and you really begin to study what it means to transition permanently off of mucus and pus, you'll see that it's really not something that's going to happen in a 21 day or a 40 day, or where people try to do these cleanses. I'm going to do a 21 day or a 40 day cleanse, or I'm going to fast for 14 days or whatever. This is a lifestyle. This is something, if you aspire to this level of health, then you have to dedicate yourself and go down this path, and be unwavering in it. What about air and food pollution? It's interesting when people ask me about surviving as a breatharian in our polluted environment. I look at them and say that we are both standing here surviving exclusively on air right now. Just because I practice a mucusless diet does not mean that my body's operations are any different from the burper king devotee. The difference is that my operations will not likely be stopped by thick pus in a few years. Food, no matter what it is or how it was grown, is only doing one of two things. It's either adding mucus to the body or eliminating it. I acknowledge that our foods are messed up, but I believe that the concern needs to stay on the food's ability to aid the body's elimination of mucus. Of course, if you are accustomed to organic fruits and vegetables and can afford it, then I don't see any problem with it, obviously. However, I would immediately stop taking any supplements and put that money into big boxes of lemons and distilled water for enemas. So that's, every once in a while I'll hear somebody try to make this argument that basically it doesn't matter what we eat because air pollution is so bad, the quality of food is so bad, so therefore I can go eat pus, like that's some excuse. That's incredibly illogical, irrational, and I wanted to try not to say stupid. But anyway, the thing is, karma is karma. So all of a sudden we're waking up, and now we want fresh fruit. Now we want good quality vegetables. But before we woke up, Hamburger Helper was cool. Calling up Domino's for some pizza was cool. We were not concerned one iota. So when people get really, really kind of like, oh, the food is so yes, and want to like complain about the food being so terrible, and try to then use that as some excuse why they're eating poorly or mucus forming things. I'm like, we have reparations to pay. You think we go through, the human history over the past, 2,000 years or however far you want to go back, and you look at the history, and you think that we've earned Edenic fruits to just live somewhere? I mean, we have to work back to that, and as our consciousness grows, we'll want to, in the same way that humans left paradise, we'll want to transition back to paradise. We'll do what we can to migrate to climates that make sense for us and places that have the food that we need, where we can grow our own food. But right now we're trying to begin the process. We're just trying to survive at this point, so why doesn't anyone else know about this? Why hasn't this information been on Oprah or 60 Minutes? Congratulations. You have been given a very rare opportunity indeed. You are one of the first people to be exposed to the most important rediscovery of the 20th century. We are living in a very degenerate age that is best described as the latter part of the Middle Ages. A time when death and the eating of death is deemed to be totally normal. We are all part of a worldwide death culture that is dedicated to chaos, ignorance, and self-degeneration. As Gil Scott-Heron said, the revolution will not be televised. Since Eret's rediscovery in the late 1800s, pioneering individuals in the American Midwest have continued to work and are the living examples of its truth. Thousands of people from Italy and everywhere have formed mucusless communities. These people are all vessels of real human knowledge. As Brother Air says, if you do not know how your body operates, you can and will be told anything. Since Eret's rediscovery, the media controllers have done everything in their power to suppress the work of Arnold Ehret and other naturopaths. Every day we are bombarded with erroneous health information and are bamboozled into believing that we do not control 100% of our health through what we put into our bodies. The implications and acceptance of Ehret's work would ultimately lead to the abolition of the medical, meat, and dairy industries, among others. Eventually, the current system of capitalism would be rendered useless and the Earth's people would return back to the mythical Garden of Eden, one of the universal paradise myths shared by many divergent cultures. But we love to eat. I don't think that I could ever stop eating. It tastes too good. I love food with a passion. You are wrong. You have to be, right? Shouldn't a diet be well balanced? Eating is part of my culture and heritage, and I refuse to be preached to. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to just tell you to stop eating. I'm not preaching about what is good and bad for you or what you should believe in. I'm a humble musician, professor, philosopher, and mucusless diet practitioner with the obligation to share these newly rediscovered laws with you. I am challenging you with profound information that has the power to transform your life. Only you can transform this information into knowledge and evolve it into wisdom. My words mean nothing unless you decide to be productive and investigate. Unless you decide to be proactive and investigate these principles for yourself. No matter what you decide to do, you have been chosen to receive this information now. And right now, armed with the knowledge of these physiological laws, you have a wonderful opportunity to question and investigate the limitless potential of the human body. What is inside of us? Mucus and pus. Yuck. And anybody that wants to try to say that this is not in the body, you don't know what you're talking about. I've seen this, plenty of this come out of my body, and the nastier stuff really came out within the first year. But as long as you have eaten mucus in the past, and if you continue to eat mucus, this stuff is definitely up in you. And as you go along the process, more and more of this mucus will be able to leave your tissue system, and a lot of it will come out in your intestines, and you'll continue to have mucus strands, and mucus ropes will continue to form even when you're not eating mucus. So this stuff is definitely in there. What does this mucus do? Now, this was somebody that was getting some gangrenous feet and stuff on their hands, and this is in Bernard Jensen's book on colon therapy. But they had these people do colon irrigation every day for a while, and it shows how bad the gangrene was right here. And then by day 4 it was starting to subside, and it was actually starting to heal by day 7. And that's just 7 days of doing enemas, and look at how quickly the healing is able to take place. And Jensen's dietary prescriptions were not that good, even though he was aware of Arnold Ehret, was a member of Arnold Ehret Club. Some of his perspectives on the dietary were problematic. But anyway, just a little bit. What is there to eat? Fruits and vegetables. Yay. Lemons. Peace, love, and breath. Professor Spira. Let's see, I have some good comments. Wow. This is Jenny. Wow. This is the comprehensive picture I've been searching for. Have been familiar with raw foodism and fruitarianism and 80-10-10ism and breatharianism for a fair while. So many competing theories. I should have come back to the basics, back to the original material from which they all sprung. Brings everything together into one framework. Love it. And the lack of extremism and dogma. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see, what else do we have? Ben Jorgensen. I feel profoundly lucky and blessed to be aware of this and to be open-minded to it. But I also have many questions that I know may take a good part of my life to answer. I have a very hard time believing that we don't need very much food. I understand and agree with eating only fruits, herbs, nuts, and seeds, but I have never even considered that one can live on very small amounts of these, that these always have been labeled anorexia in my mind, or 80-10-10 style. But I would also like to ask you, can you point me to some links where I can actually reference real people today that are following a mucusless diet and what exactly their methods are? I now know what foods are mucusless and the like, but it is still hard for me to understand how to do it. Pictures are pretty convincing, but how can I be sure that this was done without smoke and mirrors, of colon cleansing, mediums such as bentonite clay or some other substance that would generate such stringy, rubbery masses? I'm just needing some help understanding all this. I'm not trying to disprove or negatively criticize you or anything here, as I don't have the wisdom to do so. Just know that I am coming from a true state of peaceful curiosity and truth seeking, not one of resistance. Thank you very much in advance for the information you can give me. Much love to you and all that in your special group. Let's see. Oh, I forgot. I don't understand at all what Ehret meant by the lungs pumping the blood and the heart being the valve. Can you state your opinion on this? What am I not seeing correctly? And then I said, Greetings, Ben. For some contemporary insights on the heart being the valve and the lungs the pump, check out the link. Also, the only way that I personally know that the mucoid plaque is real is because I had great quantities of it come out of my body throughout my practice of the diet. Some of what came out actually looks worse than what is in some of the pictures above. As I learned to combine lemon enemas with the transition diet, I had remarkable quantities of waste leave my body. I wish I had pictures of some of the mess, or better yet, some way to convey how terrible it smelled. At any rate, Arrett's paradigm is quite different from that of 80-10-10 and other raw food vegan concepts that are built upon standard Western dietetic and medical concepts such as caloric intake, vitamin theory, and protein myth. Check out this article for a bit more information on this issue. So we have some more positive things here and some other questions and stuff, so I won't go over all of that discussion material, but you can come here to the website and view it. So, as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and listening to my video, and I'm going to continue to make some of these where there's a lot of content that's out here, but I know there's a lot of people that have yet to see the content, and also I know a lot of people don't necessarily like to read. And so if they're confronted with some big book or a website that has a lot of stuff to read, I understand not everybody is incredibly studious, so sometimes people just want to hear it and just could benefit from hearing it. So I am trying to provide a little bit of voice to this great diet. So I want to thank you and talk with you real soon. Peace, love, and breath.